Oh, hello, 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 hello. Okay, I see we have like 8 people live right now with us. Let's see if we can have more people join the stream. Who is excited? Let me drop a comment on the comment section and let me know how excited you are about this session. Okay, let's wait for more people to join. I see more people are joining the stream. Let's wait for like in the next 3 minutes, then we can kick off. Well, let me know how was your day and how is your day going. Tell me all about your day and how your day is going on the comment section. And also tell me how excited you are about this session. So in the next 5 minutes, we'll kick off. So let's wait for more people to join the stream. While waiting, let me know how was your day in the comment section and let me know how excited you are about this session. Okay, in 3 minutes, we will kick off. Let's see if we can have more people join. Okay, just a minute to go. Just a minute, and we'll kick off. Please remember to check in. I'm going to drop the check-in link again on the comment section. You can also see it right there on the screen. Okay, so remember to check in, and let's get started. So who is excited? Who is excited about these sessions? I'm not seeing a lot of comments today. I would love to see you guys on the comment section. Okay. Okay, so we are actually gonna have fun today. We'll be learning something new, something really cool. So if you're on my last session, on my last stream, we talked about Kubernetes, we talked about Docker. Today we'll be looking at a different aspect of cloud and infrastructure. Hello, Gabe. Hello. I want to see you guys on the comment section. Let me know how you're doing. Say hello. So today we'll be looking at a different aspect of the cloud. We'll be looking at something we call observability in the cloud industry, or in the in the cloud field, and we'll be seeing how we can actually monitor and see inside the cloud. So by seeing inside the cloud, what I simply means is keeping track of what is going behind the scene, or keeping track of what is happening inside the cloud, inside our cloud in this case. So we'll be looking at that, and we'll be exploring two tools, two observability tools. One is something we call Prometheus, and the other is Grafana, which is more like an artist. Okay, so if this is your first time hearing anything about observability in the cloud, let me know on the comment section. And if you know anything about observability, if this is not your first time of hearing about observability, also let me know on the comment section what you know about observability, when it comes to the cloud, or maybe any other aspects of tech. If this is your first time of hearing the word observability, from the word observe to observe, also let me know. So I want this session to be, hi M1, how you doing, man? So I want this session to be friendly. I want this session to be engaging. So I want us to discuss with each other. So good to see you, man. Okay, so Gabi said this is not my first time. Yeah. So tell me what you know about observability. Tell me, what the word means when it comes to tech or when it comes to cloud. I want to hear your opinions. I want to understand, the audience we have. If you're a total novice on when it comes to the word observability, when it comes to the cloud, also let me know. So I want us to engage, talk about this session, and of course get our hands dirty, doing the observability tool and using it in real life, on basically how you can use it in a day-to-day job. Okay, so just where I'm looking at the comment section, why does this matter? Like, why are we actually talking about observability. Why are we talking about these tools? Why does it really matter? Why do we need to see inside the cloud? So that may be a question you may be asking. I mean, we have a lot of things to worry about, right? Building, deploying. We still have to worry about monitoring the tools, the infrastructure that hosts our our applications. So I'm gonna give you a yeah. So I'm gonna say specifically for billing. Yeah, specifically for billing. Yeah, very good comment right there. Yes, this is good for billing. Observability is good for billing. So because it's going to affect the billing at the end of the day as well. So I want to say in a web app, observability tool helps engineers see if a page is slow, which server cost it and why. So which server cost it and why, without needing to dig into the code directly. That is absolutely correct. That is why it matters. So these are all why observability matters. So I'm gonna give you a day-to-day example. You use your laptop, your MacBook, and now you keep track of, not really you keep track, but most of the time, if you're running a heavy load on your machine, it's crying, the fan is spinning, and your system could start overlagging. Windows could alert you that you're running low on space if your storage is going down. Asking you to either clean up some unused tools that you don't longer use, or uh, what's it called, files that are on the system that are not real, longer relevant. You can get rid of them. So these are all why observability matters, basically. So we have three tools, or basically two tools we'll be talking about today: Prometheus and the Grafana. So we'll see how these two things actually helps us. So this is Prometheus, your data ally. Think about Prometheus as an inspector, a police inspector. So imagine a super fast inspector named Prometheus. So his only job is to run into our kitchen. So let's use kitchen as an example. So we have like a kitchen where we are baking a cake. A lot of things is going on in the kitchen. So now we need to make sure that everything in the kitchen is working perfectly, right? And we don't want the oven to get too hot or run out of flour. So here is how actually where these two helpers come in, or basically three helpers in this case. So we'll be also looking at another helper. So we have Prometheus, which is our inspector. So his only job, he just has one job, which is to run into our kitchen every 15 seconds with a clipboard, yeah, and ask, how is everything going? So that's basically the work of Prometheus. It goes into our kitchen and ask, how is everything going? Like how hot is the oven? What's our CPU temperature in this case? Or how much flour do we have left? Like what's our memory left in this case? And maybe how fast are we using the sugar? So in this case, like, that's like our disk space. So this is the work of Prometheus. He's like an inspector. So he writes down everything he finds and has a perfect memory. So he collects all the numbers. But a long list of numbers is kind of boring to look at. If you do a lot of statistical things in school, you looking at the numbers is very boring if you're looking at a lot of numbers in this case. But when you put these numbers into charts, into a presentable chart, dashboard that other people can also look at, that is where our next guy comes in, which is Grafana, right? So who is Grafana in this case? So Grafana is like the artist. So this is where our second helper, Grafana, comes in. Grafana is like an amazing artist. So what she does is she takes the boring clipboard from one of our members, Prometheus, and she paints this beautiful picture with them on a very big TV screen so that everybody can see it. So instead of seeing oven is 360 degrees, what Grafana does is it paints a beautiful graph that shows the oven the oven temperature, going up and down. So instead of seeing floor is 50% left, she creates a colorful gouge that looks like a car's fuel meter, right? So you can actually see, where the fuel is. Sorry, yeah, where the fuel is right now. So basically, in this case, where the floor level is at, right now. So Prometheus collects the numbers and Grafana shows the pictures. So this is like our two main guys, the Prometheus and Grafana. So this way, we the chefs, cooking the food, we can actually just look at the screen and know everything is okay. It's a single glass, so we can just look at the screen and know everything is okay, and we don't need to, worry about. Then there's another guy who is not on the screen, but he plays an important role too. Uh, this is a guy we called the watchdog. He's like the security dog. So this is like the guy we call alert manager. So what he does is, if we are too busy to watch the TV screen, so what if the oven suddenly gets way too hot? That's where our third helper comes in, which is alert manager. So alert manager is like the lawyer watchdog. So we give it one simple rule. Hey, if you see the oven temperature stays above 400 degrees for more than a minute, I need you to bark really loud. So it's like when a dog barks when it senses danger. When it sees people, it doesn't know if it barks. So that's our alert manager, like the watchdog. Think about it like when your subscription on Netflix is about to expire, and uh, Netflix try to bill you, but maybe there's no money on the credit card or the debit card, so they send you an alert. So it's like a watchdog. If we try to bill you and there's no money, send a message, send an email, notifying this user that, hey, we tried to bill you, but we didn't see money in the card. So that is alert manager. So if to put it all together, Prometheus is the inspector who collects all the data. Grafana is the artist who makes the data easy to see. And then we have alert manager, who is like our watchdog, who warns us when something is actually wrong. So that's how we see. That's how we're gonna see it inside the cloud and make sure that our applications are running and everything is running perfectly fine. So in this case, we'll be focusing more on infrastructure, which is where AWS comes in. So we host our data somewhere. We need to host our data somewhere, basically. Before I dive into this more, I'm gonna share part of my screen, and let's see this a little bit graphic of these three tools that I mentioned. Just give me 1 second right here. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so we have three tools here. I'm gonna share this screen. Okay. So we have these three tools. So we have Prometheus, we have Grafana, we have Alert Manager. I just want to show you a little bit of graphics on how these three tools actually work hand in hand. So Prometheus, the inspector, it collects data, just like we know. So his job is to just collect data. So he collects data. You can see example of what he stores in the clipboard, like the CPU usage, like the memory free, the disk speed. So it does that. So once he does that, he gives it to Grafana, who is the painter or the artist in this case. So Grafana paints and visualize the data for us, so we can actually keep track of the oven temperature when it's too high, the exact time it went high, and so forth. And so right now it's like baking, like drawing, and then finally we have our guy, which is like the watchdog. So what this guy does is, okay, let's say if the thermostat crosses, let's say 400, I want you to back. So it's gonna back for us, like, hey, you have actually, this is like, this temperature is dangerously high. Yeah, so you need to do something about it. So this is like, I'm just want to show this picture. This is basically how this whole three guys comes in. Now let's look at how AWS plays a role here. How, we build, and we need to host when we build. So we need an infrastructure to literally host our data, right? So this is basically where AWS comes in now. 1 second. So today we'll be using AWS as our infrastructure house, as our kitchen in this case, where we're going to deploy an EC2 instance, a virtual machine in this case. So they call it EC2 instance. We're going to deploy a virtual machine, and we're going to install these tools inside the virtual machines. And we're going to see how we can actually observe our infrastructure to know when something is, going the wrong way, and we can make correction of that. So as usual, I have a nice web page that we can actually use for throughout the whole session. So I'll be dropping that on the comment section. So this gives you everything that you need to follow along throughout this session. So I'll drop that link again. Yeah, so if you open that link, that should give you like a beautiful web page that we're going to follow throughout the whole session. So we're going to create an EC2 instance. We're going to connect to the EC2 instance, and we are going to install. We're going to install our three tools. Prometheus, Grafana, and Lat Manager. We're gonna see how we can collect data. We're going to see how we can paint the data using Grafana. And then lastly, we're going to see how we can actually back, like the watchdog backing when something goes wrong. So for this, you need an AWS account, of course, because we need to install, we need to spin up an EC2 instance. So this is like a real world where you have your application hosted on an EC2 instance. So we want to keep track of what is going on our virtual machine or an application so far. So let's bring this to real world. You have a product, people are using it. You want to know when there's a lot of traffic. Yes, there's a different tool that you can actually use to track traffic, not really covered in this case. But then you want to track traffic when there's more people trying to use the resources. So if you have an application and you're starting small, which is cool, and you just allocated, let's say, 20 gigabytes. What if there is a lot of people using the application at a certain time, and there are many, all of them are writing at the same time? So the storage is gonna like get filled, get overload. Maybe the storage, the memory, the disk, everything is like going to be working, as fast as possible. So you need to be aware of when these things are happening. You need to be aware when there's like an overflow of resources, when there is too much writes in the application, when a lot of people are trying to use applications. So you can know the next step, to upgrade, to add more memory, to add more storage, and so forth. So that is basically the whole essence of observability, observing to know what to do next. So you need an AWS account. If you don't have one, go to, I'll just share the link right here. So go to aws.amazon.com/free and sign up for a free AWS account. if you don't have one already. And just before we dive in, I want to know how many of us have an AWS account that are on the stream right now. Yes, so M1 also says, I believe monitoring can help to scale up and scale down. Absolutely. So you want to know, yeah, that is absolutely correct. In as much as we want to know when there's a lot of usage on the system, we also want to know when when our resources are actually not being utilized the way we supposed. Because when we build, we make an assumption, right? When you are going to the market, when you have a product, you're making an assumption of how many users, how many customers are going to sign up for your platform. So it's always an assumption. So you're like, okay, I'm going to make a location for maybe 1 GB because we're expecting a so number of users to sign up. Then at the end of the day, maybe you just have like few users, maybe like 10, 5, 20, and they didn't even use 20% of the storage. So in that case, you also want to know on the charts when there's no usage at all, so you can actually scale down, or when there is much usage, you can scale up. So it helps in both ways. Okay, so Triple has an account and is ready. Who again have an account? I just want to make sure that we are all following along. And of course, if you have questions, type it right there on the comment section. So an AWS account, that is the only thing you need for this stream. So you don't need any other tool. You don't need to install any other tool. Every other thing will be run on the cloud. We'll be doing everything on the cloud and our terminal. Yeah. So we're going to use our terminal and then the AWS console. Sorry, the AWS console and our terminal. So let's actually get started. So I'm going to share my screen right now, and let's see. Okay, so I should have my AWS console up on the screen. So if you already have an account, sign in using the link I shared earlier. If you already have an account, from there you can still sign in. So you can go to amazon.com, aws.amazon.com, and sign in. Or you can go to console.aws.amazon.com and also sign in. Let me drop this other link. So if you already have an account, you can simply go to console.aws.amazon.com and sign in. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is create an EC2 instance. So from the console here, you can go to the search bar and search for EC2. I kind of have them right here. I also kind of have them on my most visited board. So I can easily just click on the EC2 here, or I can just type for that. So you have your EC2. Just before we dive into creating an EC2, I want us to talk about VPC first, because we're going to create a VPC now. So I think the first thing we need to create is a VPC. And what is a VPC? Basically, it's an isolated cloud resource. Yes. What is it actually? So VPC is literally a house. A house. Think about it like an estate. They can have different households inside. So that's a VPC. So when you want to visit some estates, you need like a pass. Let's say a government house. If you are coming to the White House, you need to be invited for you to come into the White House. If you are going to an estate, you need to be invited. You need to have someone living in the estate who invites you, and that they give you like a code or how you can access the estates, because at the security spot, you are being asked of a code to allow you in. So that is basically what a VPC is. When it comes to cloud, so it's like that big estate that you can actually house different households inside, and you can define securities, subnets, network securities, and subnets and security groups on how you can communicate to those houses. So each houses is an estate. Each houses have like a security code to the gate, so you can define who can visit and who can visit. So that's like a VPC. So we want to create a VPC, and for our VPC, so from the console also, just click on search, type VPC right there, and click on the VPC. That should take you to this page. So that should take you to this page. So on this page, click on create VPC. You basically see an option to create only VPC or VPC and more. You can go with the VPC and more. I don't want to auto-generate a name, so I want to give it a name. So I'll just call this. Okay, let's use a different name. Yeah, I'm thinking of a name to use. So I call this MAH Stream or MAH Cloud. Okay, that sounds good. So let's call this MAH Cloud. Determine the starting IP. Yeah, just leave every other thing as default. For the number of availability zones, just make use of 1. So we don't need 2. 1 is okay. Number of public subnet, 1. Yeah. Number of private subnet, keep it 0. So we don't need a private subnet. It's going to be public for the purpose of this stream. We don't need a VPC endpoint, so you can keep that as none. Leave every other thing checked. So enable DNS hostname checked. Enable DNS resolutions checked. Do we need any other thing? So I think this is fine. So yeah, so everything here is other fine. Availability 1, public subnets 1, and number of private subnets 0. We don't need that. So that's all. No NAT gateways and no VPC endpoints. Go ahead and click on create VPC. So that should just take a few seconds, and here we go. So click on view VPC. We still need to do some extra things here. So once you have created a VPC, so this is basically our VPC. Go ahead and click on the subnet right here. So we're going to make some changes to the subnet. So click on the subnet. That should open on a new page. So that should open on a new page. So what we want to do is make sure that the block public access, okay, that is block public access should be off. Yeah, so this is not blocking. So we need to make sure that, give me 1 second. So auto assign public IP4 addresses, it's set to yes. So we need this because we need Grafana and Prometheus to be able to talk to the subnet. So we need to enable this to be able to auto assign public IP4 addresses. Okay, so go ahead and click on Action when you open the subnet and click on Edit Subnet. So all you need to do is check this. So enable auto assign public IP4 addresses. So once you have that checked, I think that's all. Click on Save. Okay, so this should be on now. Yeah. So that's all you need to do here. We can actually close this. Okay, so once we have our VPC, the next thing we need to do is create our instance, so our virtual machine in this case. If you're following along, can you drop a comment section? Just let me know you're following along. So from the console, go back to the search and search for EC2 in this case. So we have created the estate. Now we want to create a house, want to build a house on the estate. So we have created an estate and we have given, some security guide instruction on the estate on, who we can allow in and out. So inside the estate now, let's build a house. So go to the search bar, search for EC2. So we can spin up a virtual machine. Nice to hear, Chuku. Okay, so once you're on this page, I already have a VPC running, sorry, an EC2 running, but I'm going to create a new one. So you can click on instances from this dashboard right here, or you can also. Hi, Lily. Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks. Yeah, it's a cool session. Yeah, let's keep it going. Okay, amazing. So from this dashboard, you can just click on running instances, click on from the instances navigation here. So you should see your instances. If you have one already that is running, it filters it automatically, gives you a running instance. So I have instance running so far. We're going to create a new one. So click on launch instance right here. So what we need a name. So I'm going to call this, what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it MAH Cloud again. So I'm going to stick to MAH Cloud. So we need an image. Think about image like an operating system. So this is like we are building a machine, like we're building a computer from scratch. So we're going to pick the OS we want to install in it. We're going to pick a name for it. We're going to pick memory, disk type, and so forth that we want to install inside this machine. So we're building a machine right now, like a desktop. So we give it a name. We choose MIs like image machine, Amazon machine images. So these are like operating systems. You'll see Windows. You'll see different types of Linux distros, like a lot of them. You can browse more, so you can see quick start, which like popular ones that people always use to spin up machines. But you can browse more. Again, not all of them are free, but stick to the Amazon Linux. So this is like a very tiny Linux image that is free. You can see the free trial eligible tagged on it. So you can choose this so that they're not going to bill you at the end of the day. So you can go with that, which is free. But your own time, you can experiment. You can spin up a Windows machine. You can also spin up a Mac OS here. Yeah. So click on Amazon Linux. Just leave it at default free trial image. But if you open that, you can see other options. So these are like so these images have specific. So let me give you a bigger what this is. So this is like when you buy a specific laptop and it comes with when you buy a Dell laptop and when you buy a Windows Surface laptop, it's different. Some it's going to be different. Some of them come with some pre-installed applications inside. So this is like basically the difference between these. So you're going to see like some that already comes inbuilt with like deep learning, machine learning stuffs, you know, just stuff like that. That's basically the differences between them. So you can see a lot of images with different descriptions and what they do and so forth. So you can stick to this or this. So this is like free. So we only use the free version so that we don't get billed. Okay, I don't know, but the stream is kind of lagging. Okay, here we go. So I choose that, and yeah, architecture 64-bit. So this is Intel. This is basically what's it called? I can't remember the full meaning, but yeah, Intel. There's another processor, guys, that are very good with gaming. Yeah, forgetting their names, but yeah, you can choose the architecture of your system as well. Yeah, AMD. Yeah, so you have Intel, you have AMD right here, and yeah, so it gives you MIDs, boot mode, and every other thing. You can leave that at default. For our instance, so this is basically where we have the, when you're building a machine, you're buying a machine, like you're buying companies to build your own machine. You can go for 10 core processors with maybe two cores, one core, 10 cores, 16 cores, 32 cores. So the more powerful, the more money you spend, right? So you can leave this instance type at default. So this comes with two virtual CPUs, so basically two core, and this comes with 1 GB of memory, which is the RAM, and so forth. So you can have like on-demand Ubuntu base. So if you click on that, you can also see different instance types, like large with like you see like 4 cores, 32 gig RAM, and so forth. So the more you choose, you can actually see the prices on them also. Yeah, you can see the prices on them. So you choose the one you can afford, basically. So for now, we just stick to free trial. Yeah. So free trial does not mean they're not going to charge you. They're still going to charge you, like if you go above. So basically, what it does is, if you look at from this session, it tells you exactly what happens with the free trial. So your first open account, you get 750 hours per month of a T2 micro instance usage. If you go above it, they're going to charge you. So just keep track of that. No. So VPC does not really have any hidden charges. It's just the resources inside the VPC. So I'm answering this question right here on the screen. If while creating a VPC, do they have any hidden charges? No, they don't. They just charge you for the resources inside the VPC. Okay, so let's see. So once we have that, so here's another important part of our building our machine. So we need a way to connect to our machine. So this is a pair key login. So this is like one of the things that make instances well secured. So you need to download a key that you can use to connect to the machine. So if you already have one, they will be listed here. But if you don't, then you go ahead and create a new key pair. So when you click on this should open on not on the new page, but right here you can create this. You can call this cloud. I'll just call it MAH cloud. I just keep the keywords consistent. So they have the open SSH and they have the .ppk. So if you are going to be connecting, basically through terminal, then just stick with the open SSH. Yeah, that's the shell. And then if you're on Windows and you need like an interface, you can download Putty. Is a tool, is a software you can actually download. I'm not sure I have that. No, no, I don't have it, but you can download Putty, and it also give you like a .ppk file that you can, put inside Putty. It kind of gives you like an interface to connect to. But if you're going with SSH, so open SSH, you just, from your terminal. I think you still need to then install open SSH shell, like clients. Not pretty much sure, but I think every terminal should come with that automatically. But we'll see. So if any of you run into issues, let me know, and we'll figure it out. So choose just leave it at default. Just give it a name. Leave every other thing at default. We'll be using the SSH, and click on create key pair. So when you click on this, it will download automatically. It's a CSV file. So I'll just download that. So I have like a download option here. Here we go. Yeah, that should be here. So I'll just save that. That should go straight to my downloads. That's probably not where I want to save it, but I think I can. Yeah, I can transfer that later. Okay, so once I have that, under network settings, I want to select an existing security group. I mean, you can actually create one here automatically, or you can select an existing one. So if you have an existing group with all the configurations you need, you can just go ahead and select it here. But let's create a new one basically, so we can actually see what we want to do and what we need to do. So for this security group, we need basically two endpoints, or three basically. Yeah. So one is the SSH traffic, yeah, which we are going to use to communicate, go into our machine. Let me see. So this is not giving me option to create. Why? Not sure why. I should be able to have options to create from here. Okay, so not sure why that options are not available right here. I'm supposed to have an option I can create more here. But that's cool. We can edit. Let's see. Oh, okay. I needed to edit. Okay, that's cool. So this is VPC. Let's select the VPC we actually created. So we called it MAH Cloud. So I'll select that. Automatically, it comes with a subnet. And let's see what the subnet has. So auto assign public IP is enabled. Yeah, so it already has the SSH on it, so we can create more. So we need to create like two extra more. So I'm gonna click on create group role. Is a custom TCP. Basically, I need a HTTP. It's not like we're gonna use this particular one, but yeah. So this is HTTP, and automatically the port range is 80. So this is basically if you have an application inside the instance, inside the virtual machine. What again? The source, yeah, custom. We can provide a source to be anywhere, or we can specifically define the source. So the 0.0 here is like a white card. So basically, we can communicate with, so any application can communicate with this machine directly from anywhere, basically. So that's basically what we're trying to do. Let's see. You can actually add comments or descriptions just to understand what we're doing. And then we have for this is for terminal access, which is want to access it from anywhere. I mean, I can just say anywhere, and that will automatically give me 0.0. So we want to access the terminal from, we want to access the EC2 from anywhere. We want applications to also access it from anywhere. We also want to create another one. So this would be a custom TCP, but the port range will be 9090. So this port is for Prometheus UI. So Prometheus UI runs on port 9090 at default. So we want to, yeah, we want to access it from anywhere again, and just put some description. Okay. So we add a new one. So this will be for our alert manager. I'm just going to put the description, alert manager here. This will run on port 9093 from anywhere also. So the port range is 9093. Okay. And then finally for our Grafana, it's going to run on port 3000, yeah, 300. And just put a description so you know which security group is this or what it does. And we also want to access it from anywhere. So you may be imagining, why are we making it white card? I mean, especially in the real world, they're not going to make it white card, right? So they are going to use a custom source like an IP, or you customize, customize the source, the security, this CD block where it can be accessed from, basically. Yeah. So in real world, you just have to make sure that anybody from anywhere cannot access this. So you need to be from a specific IP to access it. So that's for security reasons. If you choose my IP, automatically it will map your IP address as the source. So it's only you that can access this machine. So, but for the purpose of this stream, we're just going to keep it anywhere, so we don't have to run issues on from IP address to other IP address. So with that in place, we can actually leave every other configuration at default. Yeah, so every other configuration is okay, and we can go ahead and click on launch instance. The amazing thing is, you can, if you wanted to run like two machines, two, three machines, you can use, and you want to use the same configuration, you can easily do that from AWS now. You can just define the number of instances you want to spin up, and with the same configuration, it spins up. Okay, cool. But we just need one, so we're going to work with this one. And I can click on launch instance. So this will take few minutes, just few seconds, no minutes. Shouldn't take up to a minute, but let's see. Okay, here we go. So it has initialized, but it's not yet ready. If we go ahead and open it, let's see. So it is running. Okay, that's pretty fast. Let me go to instances and see. Okay, so it's still initializing, like I said. Yeah, so it's still initializing. So we're gonna give it some few seconds, maybe a minute or two. I don't know. But it just takes, so once it's ready, you see this, 3/3 check passes right here. So it's still initializing. I'm going to refresh and see. Yeah, so still initializing. So let's wait a while and see. While waiting, if you have questions, if you're spinning up one, let me know. I want to know who is spinning up another machine. So if you're spinning up another machine from your end, let me know in the comment section. 10VIR. Are you spinning up on the screen? I want to know how many people are spinning up an instance right now. Let me know in the comment section. Chuku 24/7. Are you spinning up a machine? Okay, let me refresh one more time. Let's see. We should be really close now. Fail to fetch. I'll retry. Now what? Let's refresh this again. Let's refresh the entire page and see. Okay, so our machine is up and running. So let me know who else their machines are up and running on the comment section. Let me know. Let me know. So if you're spinning up a machine, let me know. If you're still spinning up a machine, let me know. If you're having any issues spinning up a machine, let me know as well. So I want to see your comments and I want to see your progress. Anyone? So no one on the comment section is spinning up a virtual machine right now or have already spin one. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the comment. Yep, yep. Okay. Amazing, amazing. So let me know when it's ready so we can go ahead and communicate with our instance. Okay, so for Windows machines, basically you just use PuTTY. Like the option we saw earlier. If you are spinning up a Windows machine, PuTTY is basically the guide to go to. But I mean, nobody. I don't know how many people spins up a Windows machine to run applications in it. Most of the time, it's just a Linux distro or a Linux image. So you always communicate through the terminal, which is cool. Okay, so my instances are up and running. So this is the one we just created. I call it MAH Cloud. If I open it, it's running and ready to be communicated with. So what I need to do is click on connect. See the connect option right here. You have a lot of options on how you can communicate with the instance. You have like the EC2 Instant Connect, Session Manager, SSH client, and EC2 serial consoles, and so forth. So we'll be using the SSH clients. If you don't have an SSH client, I think you can literally, like if you come from your terminal, you can actually download SSH clients for, yeah. Let's see. This is PuTTY. So if PuTTY is an SSH client, just like it gives you an interface, so you don't like need to install it for the terminal. Let me see. You can specifically search for, if you're on Windows, use PuTTY basically. If you're on Linux or Windows SLL, I'm on Windows, but I'm using the WSL. So I'll just search for Ubuntu basically. Or you can search for Linux. Let's see. So yeah, I mean, it's simply this command. So that installs it for you. So if you don't have that, you can simply search for that. One way to verify is open your terminal and SSH-v. If you have it, it will, give you information like this. basically. So that shows that it's installed. Let me see. Oops. Did I check version? It doesn't actually. Yeah. So if you're actually on Windows, you can use PuTTY, but then you could have gone for the other option. But if you're on Linux, Mac, then just search for how you can install SSH, open SSH clients. You can just start for download SSH clients for then your own repository. Sorry, yeah, your OS, either Windows, Mac, or Ubuntu. So I think this is for Ubuntu. I think this should also work for Mac. Not pretty sure, but I think it should. Uh, I'm looking for the official website. I think it should be this. Yeah, I think it should be openssh.com. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, you can just search for that if you don't have that. And then we should be ready to log in. Sorry, yeah, connect to our machine. So let's see. So we downloaded the PIM file, which is the key pair file. I called it mhcloud.pim. So if I go to my downloads, it should be somewhere on my download. Let's see what we have here. So it should be here, but I don't need it here. So I'm gonna copy that. I want to move it somewhere else. I'm gonna move it to I'm going to move it to my dev directory right here. So I need it here. So I'm gonna move it here because I need it here. And I'm gonna close this. So again, just move it to where you want, basically move it to the home directory, move it to any folder you want to use for the rest of this session. Just move it there. And from my terminal, I'm already there. So like basically I just navigate to the folder that I have the PIM file. So if I do SL, I think I have the PIM file here. Yeah, here we go. So mh-cloud-pim. Now this file is protected, so we need to run some command also. The chmod 400 command. So we need to run the command also. I've forgotten the full meaning of this, but let's see. So, but this is basically giving the file execution permissions. Absolutely, yeah. Let's see. I don't want to ask Copilot. That guy takes a lot of time to answer a question. So a Google search should give me what I need. So this command is used to change file permissions. Yep. So 400, this is an actual representation of the desired permission. The 3 digits represents the permission for the owner, the group, and others respectively. So this is basically you making the file executable to anyone that uses the machine. Basically, yeah. When you install applications, it's asking you, do you want to install it for only this current user, or you want to install it for every user? Yeah, so I think this breaks it down perfectly fine. So it grants read access to the file's owner. Oh, deny all access, okay, to file group, and deny all access to all other user. Okay, so basically what Chimode 400 does, it only gives the current logged in user access. So the owner logs access. And then 00 meaning deny access to if you're not the current owner of the system currently signed in. Okay, so that's pretty much what the command does. So all we have to do is we can just copy that from here. So make sure you're on the directory where you have the PIM file. So you can simply run that command. Okay, I think this is lagging again. Let's see. Yeah, so I don't know why it's lagging, but it's lagging. Let me type it. If it's lagging, I'm gonna type. Okay, I can actually type. So it's 400, then the name of the file. So in this case, that should be mh cloud.pem. And I can hit enter. I don't think I need sudo for that. But sometimes I just love to do that just to be sure it gives the permission that I want, without any issues. Okay, so with that run, we can simply connect to our machine. So this is the public DNS record for our machine. We can actually use this to connect. We can also use the public IP, public IP4 to connect. We can also use the public DNS to connect. So we can use this command. We can use this IP here, like this URL. You know how domains work. So basically, domain is mapped to different IP addresses. So this gives us like a readable IP we can use. A readable domain name we can use to communicate, or we can also go back and copy, the IP4 address. So any of that works perfectly fine. So you don't need to do any other thing than just click on copy to copy this command here. That's all you need. So this is we're accessing into our virtual machine. So just copy this and paste in the comment. Sorry, on the terminal. Let me expand this. So just copy that, and yeah, so that's all we need. And I'll hit enter, basically right here. So that will create the connection from our terminal to our machine. It will ask you a question. Are you sure you want to continue connecting? So what happens? It creates a key. So this is like a pass key. It just creates a pass key, a fingerprint key on your machine. That next time you run this machine, it's not going to ask you this question. So I'll type yes, and it will continue. Yeah, and we are in. So you should see something similar on your end. So you should see the image we installed earlier when you selected the image to use. So you just have this fancy, fancy stuff here. So this shows you that you're in. If I ask who am I, it should tell me that I'm EC2. Yeah, the username is C2 user. So we are in. So we are like inside our virtual machine right now. So that's basically where we are. So we're no longer on our local system, we're in the machine itself. So what can we do from here? So let's look at the next step we need to do. So once we're in, we need to install some tools. So this is like a new machine. You just got a new machine, though it comes with some tools pre-installed. That I am pretty sure. I don't know the tools it comes pre-installed, but I can check. I know it comes with pre-installed tools. Just like when you buy a new machine, there's some tools installed, like some tools you need. Let me see if it has widgets. Yeah, it does. It has widgets installed. So it actually comes with some tools. But the thing you need to always do is what we call do an update. So we're gonna do sudo. I'm not gonna type it. I'm just gonna copy it from our web page. You have access to the web page. If you don't, we'll drop it again on the comment section. So you'll see all the whole instructions and command that we're running throughout this session. Okay, so I'm just going to copy that. So basically, this command is going to install any update on the distros. Like, just do an update on the distro. Like when you do a Windows update or when you do a Linux update, just every local tool you find, just patch it up. But there's nothing to patch, so it's all new. We're going to install widgets and unzip. So these are like just tools. So this is like a tool we use to unzip zip files, and we get to install files remotely. We can use call or can use widgets. So any of that works. It goes nothing. It doesn't see anything. So basically, we already have this. Yeah, we already have it installed. So it actually came pre-installed. So we actually didn't need to install any other thing. So you can actually skip any of this. You don't need to install anything. You don't need to run the update. So it's already pre-installed and good to go. So the next step is we are going to install our police officer, who is the Prometheus. So Prometheus is the police officer, the inspector, right? So we're going to install our police officer, who is Prometheus. So that's the next guy we're going to install. So if you go to the page, copy the widget command. So you should have widget, then the URL. So it's actually on GitHub. So just go ahead and install that. Okay, so you see 100% here. So that shows you that we have installed that completely. It's actually a big file. It's actually a really big file. So it's like 273 MB. Is it? No, I think it's actually 99.35 MB. Yeah, not that big, but yeah, pretty fast. So once we have Prometheus installed, we don't have it installed. It's like we downloaded a folder, a big folder that have the whole tools we need. I'm going to clear my screen. If we do ls, which is list, you can see that file. So it's a zip file. It's right here. It's just a zip file, but we need to unzip it so we can actually see the files inside it. So to unzip it, we're going to use the unzip tool that is already installed. So on Linux, you can do tar, tarsvfz, then the name of the file you want to unzip. So if you do ls, you'll be able to copy the file name. So just run this command, this, and then paste the file you want to unzip and hit enter. So that will just unzip the whole file for you. If I ls again, we should see two of this. So we have this and we have this. I'll try to remove this. I don't need this anymore. So what I'm gonna do is remove. I don't know. Remove out. Does that work? Yeah, that should work. Yeah. So I've gotten rid of the folder. So I don't need the folder. I just need the file. We can rename it. We can rename it so it's actually like it's like very easy to actually go into when we want to go into it. Let me see. Oh, sure. Sorry. Just do Control L. How do we rename? I've forgotten. Honestly, I've forgotten how to rename files through the terminal. Yeah, so I'm just gonna leave it like this. But if someone in the comment section tells me how to rename, I'll go ahead and rename it. So now we have Prometheus installed. We can literally go into the Prometheus file. I really want to rename this so I don't have to type in, these extensions. Let me see. How do we rename? We can literally Google that and see. MV define name. That would be like move. MV, then define name. Would that work? That like move this, which is specify where we're moving it to, right? Oh no. If this is the file, I copy the file, that MV file name. How do I specify where I'm moving it to? Oh, so this is the old name, the new name. Okay, so that should work. The new name should be Prometheus. Thank you so much. Yeah, so someone say that in the comment section. Yeah, debit. So move the file name, and yeah. So we just renamed this to this. That is easy for us to go into it. Thank you. Okay, so with that, we can actually simply go into Prometheus. So CD Prometheus. I'm just gonna type in there. That's not what I wanted to do. So you can just change directly to Prometheus. So if you list inside Prometheus, why we did so? So I see a question. Why we did so? Nothing literally. I just wanted it to be easy for me to navigate. That's all. It's like it's a folder. It houses some files, but it has this long name. So this is the long name. So basically, what I did was to rename it from this long name to just Prometheus, so that I can easily access it without the preferences. So nothing really, nothing technical, nothing special. We can still leave it the way it is and navigate inside it. I just wanted to rename it. Got it. Yeah, thanks. Okay, so with this, if we look at inside Prometheus, we have another file called Prometheus. This guy here. So this is not a folder. This is like a file we are going to run. So this is going to execute Prometheus for us. So let's see. So once you're inside here, basically all you need to do is dot slash then Prometheus, right? Yes. So answering this question on the screen. So Prometheus is just the local agent collecting stats. Yes, it's just inspector. It's just inspecting what is happening and writing down everything happening. That's basically what it does. So yeah, you're correct. Okay, so before we run Prometheus, we need to edit the file. There's a file inside Prometheus. There's a file here. That's this guy, prometheus.yaml. So this is basically where we tell Prometheus instructions, like what to do, what not to do, ports to target, and how to basically communicate with us. So if I'll just go ahead and copy the YAML file. So this is what I would do, or what I love to do. I mean, I can just open it. So Nano is like a editor for terminal. So I think Vim. I think this also comes with Vim, but Nano is like very easy to use. There's Vim. But Word in the market has it that the old guys love to use Vim. So if you do nano prometheus.yaml, this will open the file. Love Vim. You look like the old guy. Are you the old guy? Yeah. So GV love Vim. Yeah, I mean it's more sophisticated than nano, basically. But yeah, it's cool. So literally we need to write out everything here and just paste our own, basically. Can we cut? Let's see. We can cut. Let me see if Control K does that. Yeah, we can just cut everything in here. So I'm literally just using Control K to cut out. I don't see. Yeah, just cut out everything here. Okay, so once we have everything cut out, I'm just gonna copy my own and paste it in here. So you can just use Control K, K to cut out the existing file, or basically what I do is I just remove that file and create my own Prometheus.w on my file and then write into it easily. Or you can just remove everything you have inside the Prometheus file, copy the one you have on the web page and just paste it in there. So we're literally doing two things here. We're targeting two ports. 1990, which is the Prometheus port, and 100, which is the node exporter for Prometheus. So that's basically what we're doing here. So we're just telling it how to scrape data. We want to scrape data every 15 seconds. Yeah, wanted to like monitor every 15 seconds, and we wanted to target these hosts here, like make this exposable. That's basically what we're trying to do. So with this, just write Control O to write out to it, enter, and Control S to take yourself out of Prometheus.yaml file. So I can read that file just to make sure it's wrote. I can use cat. And yeah, it did. So this is the content of our file. Okay, so with this, we can literally run this guy here and it will execute, using the instructions here. So let's go ahead and do that. So this is what we're gonna do. We just do / Prometheus. Again, I just don't like typing. If I can copy, this is gonna give me an error. I have a space here, so I'm executing this this executable file here. So this file is executable. So once you do this, it will execute the file. But I'm gonna cancel this. So what happens is I want to run this on the background too. Like I don't want to. So doing this, we run it, but I can run other commands while it's running. So I want to spin it up. I want to, also do other things on the terminal while it's running on the background. So all I have to do is, add the and symbol here. So basically, I'm telling it run this, and I have other things to do basically. So if I run it this way, it's running. It's basically running, and I can. It's running. It didn't give us any error message, so it's running. But we're going to find out if it's actually running. I can actually do cd -- to go one step back to another. Yeah, I can actually go out and it's still running. How do we know it's running? So this is how we're going to find out if it's running or not. I'm going to close this, go back to our terminal. So if you go back to our console, let's go to our instance, this guy right here. So these are public IP. We can literally copy that, or we can just click on open address. This will open on a new page. Yeah, I know that will take time. I'll just copy it. I think it has opened, has it? Sorry, yeah, it has. So this is our initial web page. And we're supposed to see this on port 9090. So remember when we are creating our subnet, we open some ports for Prometheus. So Prometheus basically runs on port 9090. So if you just put in, on the IP 9090, why are you using HTTPS? That was the issue. I don't need HTTPS. I literally just need the IP address. It should run on an unsecured. Yeah, it's unsecured, so I don't need the HTTPS. You can just copy this. Just copy this guy right here. Open it on a new tab. Open it on a new tab. Let me see. Close this, close this, close this. Open a new tab, paste that, and target port 9090 right there. Yeah, so that was fine. So Prometheus is working. If you see this page, it's working. If you go to status, go to targets, you can see the target is listening on currently. This guy is up and running, but this guy is not. So we defined two endpoints on our YAML file. So we have two endpoints, but one is up, the other one is down. So Prometheus is working fine, which is cool. So let's continue. So next, we need to install the node exporter. So basically, what the node exporter does is just a tool. Prometheus is a tool, right? Inspectors also have partners. Yeah. So let's use that analogy. So inspectors have partners they work with, right? So they work with partners. I'm an inspector, but this is my partner. They help each other to make sure that they get the work done. So what the node exporter does is like a server helper. So it just gathers details, or gets details about the CPU and memory. So this is basically how we can install it. I'm already on here. I'm already on the Where am I? Yeah, I'm already on the home directory, so I can. If you are not, you can just do cd and what's this keyword called? Forgotten something tab. Yeah, can literally run this command to go back to the home page or the home directory. So from here, we can actually install Node Exporter from GitHub also. So it's still under Prometheus. If you look at the URL, it's Prometheus or is an exporter of Prometheus. So go ahead and install that. Click enter. That should install. Again, we need to extract it. So I'm gonna copy this guy. That's the name, and I'm going to run. So instead of me to just run that, I'm gonna go back and go back and go back and go back. Who does this? Yeah, do this. I do this. Who again does this? Instead of just typing the command, I just use the history key, history key to get back to once when I have run the command before. It's cool. So I'm just gonna run the same command we ran for Prometheus to extract the file. Okay, so that works. Is a simple tool. So if I do SL, I should see these and these. So I'm going to remove the extracted file, that's the zip file. I don't need it anymore. So that works. And if I run SL, I should have two files. Again, I'm going to rename this file. So I'm going to say move the old name and the new name I want to call it is Node Exporter. So Node Exporter right there. Okay, so this time we have a clean directory. So we just have two files, Node Exporter and Prometheus, which is cool. Okay, so now we can go into Node Exporter. So cd Node Exporter right there. If I do a list, I can see we have executable Node Exporter. So just say one executable, two and license and notice. So we can run the same thing we run before. So all we need to do here is just go ahead and execute it. So hyphen slash, so dot slash Node Exporter. Of course, the AND operator. So I just want this to run on the background too. Right. Keep running. So this is running. Just go cd dot dot to go back to one step backwards. Okay, so let's see what we have. So if we go back to the Prometheus UI, refresh this guy, refresh. It's still working, and we can go to status, go to target. Let's see. Now we have both working. So we have metrics like the endpoint of for node, that's the node, and the self itself, which is the Prometheus itself. So they're up and running and they're healthy. So for any reason, you can always come here and check if they are up and running. If something is not working as expected, you can always check, if they are up and running, if they are healthy or not. If I go to metrics, what happens? Let's see. Nothing. Okay, so let's see. So now we have Prometheus, we have the inspector, and the inspector is doing a job. So he's doing something, he's inspecting. But we need a way, though it's taking tests, we're supposed to actually see these tests. If we go to metrics, I don't know why it's not opening. I don't know why, but let me see. Oh, sorry. I think I have an issue with the endpoint. I'm just gonna use the IP4 here. Go right here, right here. That should work. I don't know why it's taking time, but it should. And the other one is what 1990. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's taking forever. Yeah, so these are the logs. These are the boring logs that it takes. I mean, it's basically telling us every single thing happening on our server, but this is very boring. We can't be reading this. It's so boring. So this is basically where the artist comes in, which is Grafana, right? So this is the artist, and we need the artist to draw. So I see a question. So exporter are dependent metrics to monitor depending the OS or other apps. Literally, they're just monitoring. They're just monitoring the infrastructure, like the usage of the CPU, and not really the apps, not apps, just basically OS, like the operating system, basically. They are, yeah, just the operating system. That's what it's monitoring: the infrastructure, the RAM, the iOS disk, right? The hardware. So it's just for infrastructure, just operating system monitoring, basically. It's infrastructure monitoring, not literally the app on it, but what the app is doing behind the scenes. So if you have an Node.js app running on this infrastructure, on this EC2, I mean, if there is requests coming in and out of it can affect the hardware. So it's just monitoring the hardware. So in other words, at the end of the day, if you're playing game on your machine and it's getting overheat, I mean, your machine cries, which is the hardware that sense that something is writing too much to the disk. Yeah. So exporter is basically Prometheus exporter. They're basically just focusing on the CPU part of things. I don't know if that answered your question. Let me know. Okay, let me take a sip of Lucozade Boost. Okay, so once we have these two guys up and running, they are doing their job behind the scene. They're doing their job behind the scene, which is cool. But we need, actually, I love the dark mode, but this is cool too. But we need an artist who can actually, draw for us. We can, let me see if we can see anything from here. I mean, you can actually do some, I don't know, give me 1 second. So this is like predefined template that you can actually run, to predefine. You can actually run some command to see what's happening on your machine. You're welcome. To see what's happening on your machine. So they have like matrix explorers here. So let's see. Let's look for node. I can't search for it. I don't know why. But let's look for node CPU. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I can't see. There should be something related to node CPU. I can't see node memory. Okay, yeah. Let's run the load node one. I should be able to execute that. Not much. Nothing is actually happening on our machine. I mean, but we can actually see the load on the machine, and I mean, you can choose the time. You can do some searching here, but we need something that is more cool. So Prometheus is doing the job, but it's kind of boring a bit. We can just do some graph here as well, but we just need something more cool. So an artist. We need an artist to give us a clean drawing. So we're just gonna use an artist instead. Okay, so with Prometheus running, the next thing we need is to call in an artist, which is Grafana. So this is where Grafana comes in. So we're going to install Grafana too. So following up on the instructions, we're going to use yum to install Grafana. So go ahead and run this command. So this will go ahead and download, install Grafana on the machine, on the EC2, right? I see. Okay, so it has installed. So next we need to enable Grafana server. So go ahead and run this command. So this will enable Grafana server, and then finally we're going to start the server. Okay, so this starts the server and is running behind the scene. So how do we actually check if the server is running? So remember, we on a subnet we ported port 300, yeah, 300 as we open that port to communicate with Grafana. So Grafana runs on port 3000 at default. So if we go back to our EC2, copy the public IP, open a new page, press that, and go straight to 3000 to 3. This should open Grafana for us. It will ask you to log in. Just use the default login admin to get access to it. So admin. It will ask you to change. You can just skip that. And yeah, you should be in to Grafana. So this is Grafana. So this is an artist. So we need to draw. We need to tell it what to do and what to look for and so forth. But before then, we need to connect it to Prometheus so it knows where to get the data from. So it's like when you're designing data scientists, you need the data to build a dashboard, right? So I see a question. So this is my question. Can we install this stuff on background VM? Because I don't want to do all this on my PC directly. We're literally doing all these things from the virtual machine directly, not actually from our PC. So we're actually not doing anything on our PC. Yeah, so we're doing this literally on the virtual machine, not on your personal computer. So we actually spin up a virtual machine on the cloud using what's it called? Using AWS. So we spin up an EC2. So if you have a virtual machine, like a virtual machine you have installed, like Vagrant VM, yeah, you can actually run all these things on it. You can? Yes, you can. But the steps are going to be different. You need to open the ports. I don't know, but yeah. Or we're doing it like on the cloud. We're like spinning up a machine on the cloud. We open the ports on the cloud, and we are actually doing everything we are doing on the cloud. So this EC2, this terminal here is the EC2 on the cloud. We're just communicating with it through our local machine, but we're not writing anything on a local machine. All the whole read and write is going through the terminal directly, the virtual machine on the cloud, basically. So yes, if you have a virtual machine on your local machine, you can actually use all these commands. You can run it, open the ports on the virtual machine, and run all the commands you want. All the commands we're actually executing right now. So to answer your question, yes, you can. Okay, so let's go back to the Grafana UI. So we need to establish connection to Prometheus. So how do we do that? Yeah, you're welcome. So go to connections, click on new connection. No, so connection data source. Click on add a data source right here. If you see Prometheus, I mean, you can connect to other places, like if you have other data source, but we're working with Prometheus. So click on Prometheus. So this will ask you for the Prometheus URL server. So just use localhost port 9090. Yeah, it's localhost. Both of them are on the same port. Sorry, they are on the same machine. So localhost applies to the default IP in this case. So both Prometheus and both Grafana are running on the same IP address, right? So we don't need to specifically write down the IP here. So we can just say localhost is the local IP, is the IP both of them are on. So in this case, they are both on the local network. Yeah. So just specify localhost 1990, and I think that's all. So save. Yeah, Prometheus, that's the name. You can rename it, but there's no need for that. You can just save and test. So if it was successful, you will see successfully query the Prometheus API. So it's working. So if it's working, we can go back to our dashboard. We can now go to dashboard and we can start drawing, basically. So on the dashboard, let's see, let's draw. So let's draw a visualization. So we're gonna draw add a visualization. So when you click on dashboard, you click on create a dashboard. You can click on new from here. Click on dashboard, create add the visualization. These are data source. Select it again. So you have your building canvas where you can actually build beautiful interfaces. So let's start. Actually, I am going to do a bit of a trick here. So this is what I'm gonna do. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and run a query. So if you look at here, so these are like queries. You can actually add more than one queries. So if you look at queries here, you can actually use the builder. So the builder gives you access to predefined what's it called? Predefined matrix build. Like they already, so you can like basically have a template you can select and run into, run the query behind the scene. But if you actually know the queries, you can literally click on code. This is the editor, and you can literally put in the commands that you want to run. So basically, we are trying to show the CPU usage percentage. That's basically what this query does. So if you click on run, that will go ahead and run, and it will give us the CPU percentage. So this is basically a graph, right? A time series graph with when the CPU usage was up high and when it was not that high. So literally, basically when we are querying, uh, when we are trying to connect Grafana to Prometheus, Prometheus is also running on our CPU. So there was a read and write, so it went up. So that's basically the graph we see here. You can change the visualization type. So we have like bar chart, gauge, a lot of them, tables, pie chart, and so forth. So like you can actually change the visualization. Let's see by charts. Yeah. Yeah. So literally you can just change that. But yeah, for the use cases you want. And once you do that, you can click on save. But I'm not gonna save now, so I'm gonna do this. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna build up all our panels at once. So let me see. Let's do that. I'm gonna build it up at once. I'm gonna build a CPU load visualization just to show me the CPU load per average, right? Let me see. So I'm going to run a different query. Oh, you know what? So let's do this. I'm gonna save this one. I think it's gonna be basically the same thing. So I'm gonna save this. I'm going to change the panel name to CPU usage right here. You can put a description for it. And I'll save that. I'll apply. So when you apply, it comes here. You can see it right here. You can, do whatever you want to do with it. It's so cool. So it's here. So on my dashboard, it's called CPU usage. So I love to save. So I'll save, give my dashboard the name. So I call this AWS monitor. I mean, it could be more, more defined to the application you're actually running. So I'll call this AWS EC2 monitor. Basically, we just maintain the EC2. We don't actually have any application inside it. So inside our AWS EC2 monitor, we have CPU usage I have saved, right? Yeah. So I can simply say added. You can use this. This is more like a version control. Also, like it's keeping track of the changes you make. So you can actually be more specific what you have done so far. So added CPU usage or something. In a real world, you want to keep description of what you did so that your manager can know what you did. No changes to save basically. So the last changes I made, there was actually nothing to change. So this is not going to work. But this has saved. So if I refresh, come back, I'll still have it here. So let's actually build more panels or dashboards. So I'm gonna call this CPU average. So if you're with me on the web page, if you scroll all the way down, so where you have all the way down to where you have build a powerful dashboard. That's where I'm at right now. I'm going to come back up, but I want us to build the panels first. So we don't have much time, so let's build the panels and then let's experiment. So if you're following the web page, go down to where you have build a powerhouse dashboard. That's where I'm at right now. Okay, so I'm gonna build one called CPU load average. So this is gonna keep track of the average load of our CPU. So I'll click on visualization, give it a name. The name is CPU load average. Okay, that's the title basically. So in the query, we can actually use the inbuild here. We don't need we can use the builder. Search for node load one. So node load one. So we're gonna build node load one from query. So we're going to add like 3 loads here. So add a new query. This will be node 5. Let's see. Yeah, so that should be node 5 from query. And which other one we need? Load 15. I'm going to add another query here, which is going to keep track of node 15. So these are all like predefined queries. If you want to see exactly what it does, basically what you can do is click on Matrix Explorer. If you open Matrix Explorer, search for what you're looking for, it will give you a description of what it does. So it's just give you is like it shows you 15 minutes load average of our machine, like a virtual machine, our instance. So the one shows us a 1 minute load average of it. The 5 shows us a 5 minutes average of it. So that's basically what it does. So like they are predefined, so you can just select them. So I'm just keeping track of three average loads in this graph. So that's it. I'm gonna run the query here to be able to see like 3 different graphs here. So this, and that. Yeah. So that's the 3 guys we have here. Okay. So let me run these queries again. Run this, and run this. Okay. So I have these. Let's see. Do we need any other thing? No, so I think this is okay. We can leave it at time series. I don't think we need a gouge for this. Not really. I think time series looks better. So once I have that, I click on apply. Again, I love to save when I've made these changes. I just love to save. want to have three of them on the graph. So I just did. I can save and just say what I did. So I added a load average for 1, 5, and 15 minutes, basically. So you can just do what you did. Okay, so let's rush it. I'm gonna rush this. I'm gonna create a new one. Add a new one. Visualization. I'm gonna call this memory usage. You wanna keep track of memory. So that's the title here, memory. In the query editor, you're gonna use the query editor this time. So here, change this to code and run this query. Okay, so we're going to change this to gauge right here. So this looks much better. So you can see the memory available on our system, like the memory usage percentage of our system. And also look for standard options here. Change the units here to percentage 0 to 100. Yep. So just a percentage of our memory. Yeah, I think that's all. Click on apply and click on save. So what did I add? I added a memory usage draft. Well, memory usage, whatever, dashboard or panel. Okay, so save. So we have this guy. You can literally drag and drop also, whatever you want to do here. Cool. And let's create one more, which is going to be the disk IO. So what I'm going to do is add one more here, visualization, title it disk IO, and I'm going to run two queries basically. So the first query is this, and the second query is this. Okay, so this is just going to read the NVM one and yeah, the NVM our so it's going to read out that our disk basically to know when it is writing and reading. So one is to keep track of when there's a read, one is to keep track of when it's written. So more like a crude, like when something is being called and when something is being written inside it. We can use time series and we can change the standard option. Just change this standard option unit to bytes. So we are basically looking for bytes and seconds at this case. So bytes, data rates, SI. Apply, and always save. So I'm just gonna save. I just put a description of what I did, and I think we're good. So we have a cool dashboard to look at. We have a cool dashboard to look at. So let's do something real quick. So we're going to overload our dashboard. Like we're going to see what happens, how this should actually work in your real life. I'm going to save this just to make sure everything is done. I'll just say done. Save. So that even if I refresh the page, my dashboard is still here. Yep. So make sure you save. If you don't save, if you refresh, it's all gone. So it is not auto save. So make sure you save after making the changes you made. Okay. So let's disturb our machine and see what happens. So we're going to install a tool called Stress Tool. So if you are following up on the web page, go to Real World Scenarios. That's step 9. We're going to install Stress. It's just a tool that simulates real world, scenarios that could happen on the system, right? All you need to run is the second command actually. The first command is not gonna do much. Let's see. Okay, so my machine has actually timed out after inactivity. I'm gonna run, sign back into it. So this will happen. So if you have not actually interacted with the terminal for some time, it will just look back on its own. So you can just go ahead and sign in again. Now it's taking forever to sign in. Now, there we go. So we are in here. I'm going to run this command. Nothing provide. Yeah, so basically nothing. Just run the second command. That should be all. So run this to install stress 2. So this is 2. Let me show you what the 2 does. We are going to see a real life CPU stress test. I'm just going to run the CPU stress test. So what this does is it just does some things on our CPU, like on the kernel. It just keep doing some things for the next 60 seconds. So if we come back here, let's refresh this. We're going to see some spike on our dashboard. Yeah. So things are happening here. So if you look at the load CPU load average, you can see it has actually gone up a little bit from here. Let me see. So refresh. Yeah. So look at that. That was a spark up here. You can see the time frame. Yeah, literally 1 minute ago, there was a spike up. Also, the same thing here. There was a little bit spike here on our read and write too because of the tool. So it's still running. If I refresh again, I should see some changes. Yeah. So things are moving. If you look at this has moved real high. So it's loading the disk with data. It's a simulation, so it's just simulating what will happen in real life when things are happening and so forth, right? So I think that should be done by now. Yeah, it is. So if you look at the memory test, yeah, let's run the memory test. This will give us look at our memory right now. We have 47.7%, which is cool. And while we are here, I'm just gonna drop feedback link because we are almost running out of time. Okay, we're already out of time, but I'm just gonna drop that so you can always give us a feedback, let us know what we can do better to improve the global hack week. So let's run the memory test. I'm gonna execute that. So it's running, it's dispatching. If you come here, refresh, there's gonna be a spark on our memory. Just give it some time. It's coming. I'm gonna refresh again. Let's see. It's actually coming. Yeah, here we are. So see that? So it disturbs the moment. So it's just simulating what happens in real life. So our memory has hit all time 96.6. Yeah. So this is basically everything we are actually doing today. How to monitor what is happening on our infrastructure so we can actually know what to do when something like this happens. Okay. So because of time, because we're already out of time, I want you to finish up this session on your own, right? Uh, using the last guy, the alert manager. Yeah, I want you to finish up. Use the alert manager, install it. It's simple. Just follow the instruction on the web page. The same way we have done this. Install it. Install it. You can create an alert manager YAML file to give instructions on what to do, like configure your email. So you can configure your email, and you can actually use app password. Don't forget to use app password when you're doing that. I just drop the link. You can use app password if you're on Google to create an app password. Use that app password, use your email, and so forth. Okay, to simulate what happens. So just for the instruction, you simulate what happens when memory is high. You can just do the stress tool again to stress the infrastructure. When memory is maybe like past 80%, send me an email. So that is basically going to send you an email letting you know. You can actually customize the email as well, what to send you. So more like an automation. Send me an email when the memory usage has passed so percentage. So in real life, companies, teams use Slack to also communicate, from Grafana to Slack. So if something happens, send a message to the channel, stuff like that. So pretty cool, pretty cool. So go ahead and finish it up. Go ahead and finish it up on your own time. I think we should have a stream coming up right now, if already not up on open source and GitHub. Again, I didn't mention all the tools we use today are all open source too. Grafana, Prometheus, they are all open source. Free, free to use. We didn't pay for anything. Free to use and is open source, built by the community for the community, and anybody can also contribute to it. So, I mean, if you love the tools and you want to contribute to it, join the next stream. The next stream is actually going to talk about how to actually look for projects or how to contribute to project you love, like documentations and how to go through the GitHub repositories, find the project and so forth. So go ahead and join the next stream and learn how you can contribute to these open source tools that we have been showing throughout the whole week. It's actually like amazing tools out there. And of course, if you have questions, go ahead and ask me your questions. Happy to answer them either here on Discord. I'm always there for you. Okay. So guys, that will be it for today. And yeah, thank you so much. And I'm always around. If you have questions, run into a backlog, let me know on Discord, and I will. Yeah, it's basically showing that my time reached 96.9%. Okay, guys, that will be it for today. Thank you, and see you next time. Thank you.